As I'm sure many people have seen by now, Nintendo has unveiled the brand new Star Fox game for the Nintendo Switch 2. However, I suppose we should probably put some air quotes around new because it is once again a remake of Star Fox 64. But, as I will explain in this video, I can't really blame Nintendo for being so obsessed with Star Fox 64. It is probably my favorite Nintendo 64 game to this day. And also for the sake of this video, you'll be seeing footage from both Star Fox 64, the original game, and the remake on the 3DS as I've played through both. But before we do talk about that, first I'll go ahead and quickly run through my thoughts on the upcoming Star Fox game for the Switch 2 because I didn't really want to make a dedicated video talking about it because I'm going to make a whole video about the full game which is coming out in like a month, so I didn't want to have multiple videos back to back. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about it. I definitely don't think that it looks perfect by any means, however I would be lying if I said I was not excited. The visuals so far look really good. Everything looks really crisp and high fidelity. I mean, sure, some of the character models look questionable, but it's hard to comment on whether or not I like the new direction that they're going with because honestly it kind of takes playing the game to make a full proper judgment. I say that because it seems that they're going for a more mature and grounded approach to the way that they're going about the narrative and storytelling and aesthetic. So in all honesty, there is a chance that I sit down and play the game once it releases and it really does kind of click and I'm like, okay, I can see why they went the direction that they did with the models. Once again, I'm not saying I'm not skeptical, and there are characters that look better than others. For example, I think that generally Peppy Hare and Slippy Toad look better than Falco and Fox. Am I on a big old dose of copium right now? Maybe, but I honestly am not as bothered by them as I was the first 5 seconds whenever they appeared on my screen, and most of that mainly just came from the shock factor of not being used to seeing the characters look like this, and because we just saw Fox in the Super Mario Galaxy movie with a completely different aesthetic. Anyway, alongside that, there are other parts of this game that I am really excited about. For example, the introduction of an online dogfight battle mode sort of thing. I think that if they treat this well, it could be a really cool addition. The game using a Switch 2 webcam to kind of have this facial recognition VTuber thing is admittedly a really genius idea. The execution, we'll just have to see how it ends up being in the final game, but I mean, despite that, I am really interested in seeing how this actually does, work out. At the end of the day though, I'm just excited to be able to talk about something Star Fox related again. The series has kind of existed in this dormant limbo state for a long time where no one really knew what the next thing Star Fox related was going to be, so the fact that we are even able to look forward to something, even if it's another remake of 64, is at the very least cool. And while yes, like many other people, I would love to see something that's actually new in the series and not yet another iteration of 64, at the very least there is a very good chance that Nintendo is using this as a way to reboot the series, especially that is seemingly the case with them just simply calling it Star Fox. And if that is the case, then we very well may see something else Star Fox related that expands the story or gameplay in a new direction in a few years, and if that's the case, then you know what, I am actually fine with this decision, but we'll just have to wait and see. I understand why many people who are longtime fans of the series are a little bit disappointed by the decision to remake 64 again and with some of the design choices that they made with it, but unfortunately, I am excited. Alright, so anyway though, let's talk about the source material here. Why is Star Fox 64 so good? Well, for starters, this game was sort of a reimagining of the first Star Fox on the Super Nintendo, which I have talked about on the channel before, but the TLDR of what my thoughts on that game is, as revolutionary and important as it is for the history of gaming, I do not think it is held up even remotely in the modern day. On the contrary though, Star Fox 64 adds so much that just completely improves the experience in virtually every single way possible. For one thing, the controls in this game are so incredibly responsive. For one major thing, they added a reticle in the center of the screen that makes aiming so much less frustrating. There is enough nuance to the way you're able to use your R-Wing, for example, the usage of bombs, barrel rolling, being able to kind of do homing shots. And while most of the game is an on-rail shooter, don't even get me started on whenever it puts you in all-range mode. These are like some of my favorite moments in the game. Whenever you are in all-range mode, you have like 360-degree rotation capabilities trees, and it's so fun. These are also in particular the most immersive moments in the game. I love whenever I'm playing and I'm able to kind of visualize myself as Fox and fighting alongside the teammates, and it feels like I'm almost in some sort of pseudo Star Wars movie or something. Overall though, the core of the gameplay is incredibly simple to pick up, but there is enough nuance to make it infinitely fun to master. Everything from knowing how to properly utilize bombs efficiently, knowing when to use charge shots versus rapid firing, and more in order to do as well as possible in levels in order to unlock the hard routes in order to make your way to Venom. Those harder routes is another element of this game that is so good, and that is the replayable nature of it. Every single playthrough will take you through 7 levels in varying orders depending on what you do in particular within those levels. So while yes, in theory, Star Fox 64 is a short game, it's a short game in the same way that Luigi's Mansion is a short game. That doesn't make it bad. If anything, the short nature works in its favor as it makes it so much more fun to replay, almost like an arcade game or something like that. And the whole varying routes thing leads me into another facet of this game that I love so much, the teammates. For example, you need to keep Falco alive for him to give you the hints needed to find these various other routes. For example, on Corneria, where he guides you through a waterfall after you go through specific openings on the path, this then leading you to Sector Y. Likewise, Slippy Toad gives you info regarding boss health, and Peppy Hair will act as sort of a tutorial giving hints and such. The teammates are not only important to keep alive, but the banter that they provide and genuinely lovable personalities will make you want to anyway. And the way the game gives you this personality is perhaps my favorite element of it, and that is the voice acting and writing. Like, I am horny for the voice acting in Star Fox 64. There are so many quotable lines in the game. I'll go ahead and read through some of my favorites though. I love it whenever you're on the dogfight mission in Fortuna and you have Wolf just going like, "I can't let you do that stuff, Fox." I remember whenever I was on Corneria, Falco went like, I guess I should be thankful, but he didn't say it like a question like you would think it would be. Like, Falco, but are you thankful? Falco is just the funniest character in the game, by the way. Like, he just sounds sarcastic as hell every single time he opens up his mouth, and I love it. Like on the mission in Corneria that I was alluding to earlier, whenever you go through the openings in order to unlock Sector Y, Falco goes like, "Pretty smooth flying, Fox." And I remember I was like, thank you? I also love the introductions to each mission where General Pepper is talking to the team and Fox is hilarious.
Fox, we're under attack. Help us out here.
I'm on my way.
Yeah, you tell him, Fox. I really love the mission on Catino whenever you're interacting with Bill, which, by the way, side tangent, but the thought of there being a living animal in space during a Lilat war named Bill has always been so funny to me. But anyway, Bill and Fox have a brief exchange over their little comms, and it's so adorable. Like, you can genuinely tell that they are happy to see each other.
Fox, you made it. Bill, is that you? I can't believe it!
Also, every single time you accidentally do attack one of your teammates, it actually does make you feel so bad.
Knock it off, Fox!
Anyway, you get the point. I could literally pick any single voice line in this entire game and make a comment about it. They're all so endearing and funny. It perfectly rides that line between campiness, but also genuine endearment. It's awesome. I love it. In terms of the narrative itself and the way it's presented, I also do really like how Andross is an ever-present antagonist, culminating in a really iconic final battle on Venom. It's a simple narrative, but one that works incredibly well. The difficulty itself for the game is also pretty much spot on perfect the entire time. It's easily one of the biggest reasons the game has held up so well for me. There really has never been a moment where I fail in one of the missions and felt that it was the game's fault. Every single time it's like, okay, what could I have done better? And then I go back in with excitement. And like, even the original game on the Nintendo 64 has aged remarkably well visually for its time. Obviously, it's kind of got that campy polygonal look from the Nintendo 64 generation, but I personally feel like it works pretty well. Overall though, there's a reason why Nintendo is so obsessed with Star Fox 64, and I really can't blame them for that. This is genuinely one of the greatest games of all time. It's fun, it's challenging, it's entertaining, it is genuinely hilarious. Honestly, all around, it just marks pretty much every single box for what pulls me into a Nintendo game. And as I said at the beginning of the video, I fully intend on making another video after playing through the remake on the Switch 2 to talk about how that version holds up with the original. Is it something that just becomes the new definitive way to play the game, or are there other issues that we don't know about yet? Who knows? So as always though, if you enjoyed the video, you should totally like and subscribe, as that is the best way to support the channel. I'll be doing plenty more videos on the channel like this. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and as always, peace out.